Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm reviewing the PreSonus FaderPort. Welcome, everybody. Today I'll be reviewing the PreSonus FaderPort 8. So the FaderPort is PreSonus's line of USB DAW controllers. It comes in a single fader, 8 fader, and 16 fader version. Obviously with the FaderPort 8, we're looking at the 8 fader version, go figure. But before I tell you what I think about it and my experience with it, let's go ahead and take a look at the front and see what all it can do. So starting at the top left, you have the one encoder on there that's used to dial in different parameters, things like pan or your plugins, whatever you have assigned to it. Of course, the main attraction on the FaderPort, you have your 8 faders there in the middle. This, of course, controls the fader in your DAW. On the left side and right side of your faders, you have all these various shortcuts and hotkeys. I'm going to talk about those here in a little bit. And then your top right, you have your automation control, and right below that, you have transport control. On the back, pretty simple, power, foot switch, and USB, and that's all there is to it.
See, even my dog loves watching my videos. Make sure you hit that subscribe and notification button. That way you can catch them as soon as they come out.
I originally got the FaderPort 8 to put into a control room at a church where I was running broadcast audio. We needed a way to have expanded control and not have to depend on a mouse and keyboard, and for that the FaderPort 8 actually worked really well. I could do individual instrument mixing with my mouse and keyboard and plug-in control, things like that, and always keep my VCAs on the 8 faders on the FaderPort, because really once you start mixing, I spend 95% of my time on the VCAs anyways. And real quick, before I go any further, I do want to put a quick disclaimer out there. This is just a DAW controller. It is not an interface. It does no audio processing at all. It does have a 1/4-inch jack on the back, but that is just for a foot switch for simple play and stop control, right? So if you're looking for an audio interface, sorry, this is the wrong video for you, but hey, keep watching anyways. One of the greatest things about the FaderPort 8 is its ease of use. Basically, all you have to do is plug in the USB to your computer, turn on HUI control on your DAW, and then you're ready to go. That's all there is to it. The scroll wheel, the scribble strips, the faders, everything just works the way you would expect it to. It's very intuitive, great for beginners and even pros as well. I've used much more complicated systems like the Avid S4, which uses a protocol called Yukon or EUCon, I'm not sure how they say it. And it's way more complicated. You kind of have to know what you're doing to set that up. But with the FaderPort 8, it's basically plug and play. The faders are effective enough. I mean, they do exactly what you need them to do. They turn things up and down. However, they do feel a little bit cheap. You can definitely tell that this is not a super high-end piece of gear. Now, PreSonus puts a bunch of extra buttons on the surface. Things like undo, select all, putting in markers, things like that. The most commonly used shortcuts while working in your DAW. Now for me, I've been on a keyboard for so long, it's actually more time consuming for me to take my hands off the keyboard, find the button on the FaderPort and hit it there. So I basically ignored all of those buttons at all times. However, if your workflow makes more sense where your hands are just always on the FaderPort, then maybe it's something you'll get a lot of use out of. It just didn't do much for me. Coming in around $400, the PreSonus FaderPort 8 is one of the most affordable 8 fader DAW controller options on the market, even if it does feel a little bit cheap. Its extremely easy use and intuitive setup makes it a great choice for beginners. It does have a lot of fluff, a lot of extra buttons and things that I never use, but it never got in the way. If you're looking to just throw faders around or more easily write automation, it could be a really good option for you, and you should check it out. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you have any questions, as always, leave them in the description below. We'll see you next time. Before I tell you what I think about it, let's go ahead and take a look at the front, and then I'll tell you about my experience.
The crap was that?
I just pulled a freaking Rick from Rick and Morty.